It's late evening, but good evening, YouTubers. At this time of video, it's like 8 o'clock at night. Uh, I didn't do it this afternoon, I completely forgot. But I'll give you the lowdown of today. So, today, I went and cut a pipe down. I don't have the pipe. But I have cut, I think, 14 or 16 of these at 4 inches apiece. I have found some bolts that are 8 inches long that should fit what the original piece was. The original bolt, where the fuck is it? Yeah, there it is. Original bolt. Original bolt and new bolt. Side by side for comparison. This is what I hope to work. I'm putting a 4-inch body lift on my truck. So, as you can see, I've already lifted the box 4 inches. So there's where it's originally, and there. I've had to cut a portion of the frame. I guess you can't see that. Let's get a light here. Light. There you go. Now you can see it. So there's one and then the two. And I've had to notch my frame out just a tad because I don't have a bumper. I have a roll pan. So I had to notch it for that to fit up and right. I also have a fifth wheel I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with. So there's that. Then there's number 2, or should I say number 3, and number 4 is behind that. And I've got the box for my batteries sitting beside it. And then the gas tank, and I've also done to the other side. So I've got one there, and one there. This line here is for the old natural gas line that went to the old tank that was sat back there. It's zip tied to some wires. I didn't realize it. And then it goes up front underneath the gas tank. And it's stainless steel line, a real bastard to cut. And this is what remains of it. So yeah, I've already done the lift on the back. I've still got to get it bolted down, but it's lifted. And now I'm trying to figure out my next scenario, my next plan to this. So I want to run the exhaust up and over the gas tank, as close to the body as I can get it, and then around and then up into the stack. The front mounts, I've got to do some dicking around with, because where I want to run the exhaust happens to be, if you can see it, where the original mount is right about there. And I have to run my exhaust right past it. So I'm going to get a open tube, much like this. So the exhaust will slide through it, and I can bolt to the undercarriage and then bolt to the frame again. And then the exhaust will go straight through it. But I want to have it over top of the gas tank. So I got to get it big enough that it'll go across, and then the evap as well, and then down on the other side, so it doesn't burn anything as it comes up. And it's also heat shield for this, which now I realize there's a huge error in my ways here. I might have to take that, turn that off. Might have to take this and move it to here, which is fine with me, and then run it down and then go that way with it, avoiding the section here. It's nothing for me to do that. It was like, it's just spray painted and bondoed. And bondoed here, I've got plenty of that, and I've still got some metal. So if I had to, I can always do it there. I can always take the plasma cutter and do that, and then just make it disappear again. So there's that. So that's possibility to put it here. And then I have that I've got to move in kind of the same retrospect. That this line goes straight down and comes this way and then goes underneath and then goes into a T for this piece. Because I have a tank over here, said tank, for extra mileage. Because as we know, this thing is not exactly what you'd call fuel efficient. So I run some extra fuel in the back of the truck, and this holds another 2.5 tanks worth to this old beast. I got a 120 liter tank, and that's, I think, 208 ish. So two and a little.
Facebook message.
Son of a fucking bitch. So yeah, I think that's what is it? 120, 100-ish. So that's 208. You can do the math. 240 would be 2 full tanks. So okay, 1 3/4 ish. So yeah, if it's dead empty, and I can run that on the highway while still driving if I have no stations I've hit in the last while. I flip a switch, it pumps in, but unfortunately the last time when it was down here, it pisses out the side and sprays down the side of the truck, which I have had happen. I've been stopped for it. The trucker didn't like that much, but hopefully I can solve this problem, that I can get somewhat of a pressure valve that'll hold it down there, and then once it hits a certain pressure, that thing will kick out. That's my next plan. I got to get a pressure gauge that's low enough that'll kick it. So I don't want to go in the box and run over to that. So I got to go down and over and to here somehow. So this might move to here. That's above the battery, but somewhere in this vicinity, and then go down and in into the other hole. So if the fill neck is here, that thing sits about here. It's 2 feet deep. I can probably put it somewhere in here and then just feed it in, and then just tap into here somewhere, and then have it just kind of gravity feed. So I don't know yet. Still kind of playing with that idea. Like I said, the battery is right there. On that side, it's a tank, or water or air tank. So I don't know how I'd do it. Well, actually, maybe I put it on that side. Because if that's the air tank, I can put it right in where the tank is. Just notch a hole for it. And then I can go down into the floor, go across. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. All right, and then have the plug in the same spot, and then in there, and then have like a little flippy valve for it, so it can, all that stuff. And I don't have to worry about getting into that thing, or even put them on top, put them so they're facing down. But yeah, that's got air tank, that's got battery and fuel, bad. So originally I came out from my phone. So yeah, so that's basically what I've done today. And then later on I will make pretty. So I gotta go to town tomorrow, or into town tomorrow, basically to Regina, and pick up some longer bolts. I don't have those longer bolts, so I gotta go fish for them. The box ones, I didn't get the ones I needed because I didn't. They said that the original kit, that you can take the body bolts and move them over to your back bolts and they'll fit. But that's for a 3-inch kit, not a 4-inch kit that I am currently building. And yeah, I'm building it 4-inch because I have a 2.5-inch exhaust pipe coming through to go up to that. And I might even run 2-inch. Because it comes down, 2.5, and then splits, and a normal 5.3, glare. Normal 5.3 runs 2-inch, so maybe you can slide it right out through. Give me a lot of air gap. But yeah, that's it for tonight. I'll get back on this tomorrow and see what else I can damage. See ya. Okay, boys and girls. So, this is more of an update for all you guys. Since last time I did the part of the video, I have gone through highs and lows. It's been a roller coaster of being, okay, this is going to work, and then finding out, fuck, no, I don't have the parts for it. And then running out and getting parts, finding out the store doesn't have the right ones when I get back, and then find out that they're the wrong ones. So I went out and got, I'm trying to do the fifth wheel spacer right now. So I thought I needed 5-inch. Run out to the store, get a 1/2-inch bolt, come back, find out the 5-inch is not long enough, but they're at a 6 in the style that I want. So I'm fucking sitting there just fuming. So what I'm doing is making the next best thing. I am going to make the spacer. I'm going to weld 2 plates to the end of it, make one a captured nut, one a captured bolt, and weld it in that way, and then lay the weld to it. So what I've is this little monstrosity. So I've got a plate, another plate, and yeah, there's a little bit of a gap there, but I'm also fairly pushed up too. I've got the safest of all safest OSHA approved lifting material, a ground stake on a jack, lifting up my box. It's bolted down in 3 spots. I didn't go anywhere. I just need to lift it up high enough that I can get this fucking thing in. But yes, I did lift it that way to get this thing 4 inches high. So yeah, so you can see I got the bolt here. It's not welded in yet. This is basically me trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And then it's got to be off center because the holes on the stupid thing are not center. So I've got 3 to choose from, so I picked one and stuck it in there. So now I'm just trying to get this thing kind of center, and then what I'll do is I'll tack the top, tack the bottom, and then I'll go up top and I will drill down and hit this to a point where I can just mark it, and then I'll take it all apart. I'll drill through this, and then I'll take it all apart and make sure it's going to be in the spot that I want. So I'll put the bolt down through the captured nut, and then buzz this in a little bit, and then buzz this in a little bit, make sure it's done. And then I got to do that 3 more times. So here, there, and there. Just because the store does not have what I need. It is the holidays, and these fuckers aren't long enough. They are literally, they touch the bottom of that plate, and then they're just, no. And that's with the box all the way down. So, pissed me off. And then, this is what I'm contending with for the body. That's 8-inch. That's 5. Yeah. So, I still have quite a bit. I've had that thing running today because it's a little cold outside. I had to do a little maintenance on it. First time in 4 years I've had to do maintenance on this thing. So now it's running at peak efficiency again. It turns out that, I don't think, oh yes I do. Having your hose with that many cracks in it, and then having them break open, lets a lot of air out, and it won't pump worth shit. Go figure, right? Where's the other part of that hose? Yeah, so that's just no bueno. So now what I've done is this was a whole lot longer. It was about 6 times longer than this. So I've cut out the good spots where it went from the pump, because it goes from the pump, like that, goes down into a hole, goes over, goes back up underneath, and then goes to the business end, and it draws fuel, Venturi effect, through the nozzle, then pushes it in. The fuel hose itself is eventually going to have to be done too. But now it's copper line from the back pump. It goes around the fan. So if I hear ching, 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 ching one of these days, it's the fan hitting the new fuel line. They don't have this going beside it because it's too thick, and the copper line's actually a little bit better. So I have it running beside. There's enough room there for it, and then cinched it down. And then I ran like that much from the copper to the new tit, and then good to go. So yeah, that thing runs like a banshee now, and it's just pumping air through it. So it's not like it's going to be an explosion waiting to happen if the fan does hit it. It just means the fucking thing's not going to blow or we're shit. Not to mention the filter was full of automotive paint, because as I might have mentioned before, I went and painted my car in here before. So there is still remnants of blue paint stuck in that outside. And when I was doing it, this thing was running so I could have it hot enough to run the paint gun, and it sucked the whole whack of it in. So the entire inside of that thing is just full of schmoo. It is just caked full of blue, celestial blue Mazda paint. So yeah, I don't know if that's half the cause of this, or if it's just 4 years of age and then being baked in there. I don't know. But anyway, that one's fixed. Then I've got this one helping along. So I've got this kind of half bolted down. I had to go to Regina yesterday and pick up the bolts. So I do have, like, that's the 1/2 inch one. And this is the box one, because, wouldn't you know it, this one is too short by 1 inch. So I'm going up 4 inches, not 3. So this would have worked if it had been a 3-inch, but I'm going up 4, so I need 5.5 inch. And then, yeah, body. So I'm taking some stuff that I scrounged up from work and then cutting it up and then making these little plates that'll go on top of those spacers. So that's where I'm at right now. I've done a lot of cursing. It's been since, well, 9 this morning, and it is now 3, and I'm still working on this cocksucker. If I get 1/2 done today, I might be happy. I might call it a day. And then I got to do the other half. I wanted to get the box totally done today, but fuck, whatever. It is what it is. I wanted to get the box done and then start working on pulling parts off the cab so I can push this fucking thing back if I needed to. But that doesn't seem to be happening today. So I guess I got to get back at this and get it finished and show you what I've done, hopefully today. See ya.
A few moments later.
Like I said, fucking roller coaster of emotions doing this little project. Fuck. Looking through my bucket of bolts, I have one here. I have 2, one there and one there, a bucket of bolts, plus washers and nuts over there. Focus, you fuck. So I was thinking I should have a umpteen amount of fucking bolts. Like, I'm a scrounge hound, and anything that the work throws out, I usually take home. So includes in there, I've got 110 parts for conduit. I have conduit pipe over there. I have some scaffolding shit that they throw out from trucks, and umpteen fucking bolts. So I went looking for more of these, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I have some more of these types, because they use these for I think pinto hooks, but there's a whack of them they have from all sorts of kits that we get, and we have an abundance of them, and they were cleaning up one day, so I grabbed a container like that times 2, and I have it in my shed. So they didn't want them. I took them and dragged them home. Maybe never use them. So I have these, which they hold down. I can't remember what the hell it is. I think it's a side box. But I don't think those are grade 8 style bolts, even if I welded them. So I went looking for short little bastards like this that I can put one on the bottom and then have one maybe sticking through the top or captured a nut and stick it through the bottom. But I needed a short piece here. I have plenty of these ones, but these ones are too fucking long. So I went looking for these ones. And wouldn't you fucking know it, I come across a 7-inch long fucking bolt. Still a little on the long side. I can work with long. I can't work with short. So yeah, in my bucket of bolts, I have 6 of these. I only need 4. So yeah, kicked myself in the ass for not checking the bucket of bolts first and going out and buying 5-inch ones. Oh well, $17, well, $10 for the bolts that I won't get back. But I can still use the nuts and washers because they're brand new and they're bigger than what I've got. So yeah, that fucking... Anyway, so now that I've got a whack of these and doing that, I can do it the way, which now goes like that. No plate, no plate, and then not lock, washer, and washer. And then my hold down. Yeah, ignore the amount of shit in my truck. I was cleaning up the garage one day and then didn't realize I would be doing this later. So I've been just kind of pushing everything out of the way. But yeah, I've got a little tie down there that I got to move over to the side there. That will be nailed down to this thing too. Because what's better than a tie down than it's nailed to the damn frame. So, whatever. And then the rest of it's welded to the frame with the welder that I use at work. So it shouldn't be, in theory, going anywhere. Because these ones, well, I think they're grade 8. Yeah, I think they're grade 8. So we're going to go with plan A, subsection. God damn it. So we're back to that. So, yeah. I have too much shit. I can't keep track of it all. My story, I'm sticking to it. Day 3, I think. All my days are mixed up together. Of the 4-inch body lift on max. Yesterday, like I said, I had a roller coaster of emotions of what bolts. I found some bolts and got some bolts and put some bolts in. So now all that's nailed down. Well, not nailed down, but it's in. So I can get the cab kind of up in place and see how everything is going to see, and then kind of manipulate it in place, and then say we're committed. So what I've got done today, got a little late start this morning, but I've got running boards off now. They're sitting in the back of the truck, but I had to get the running boards off because they're attached to the body mounts, which is there, and one up there. So I've noticed that though, I can't remember the name of the company that's got them, but the way theirs is they're a flat mount that just uses the original bolts to the cab. You just pull that out, shove this into it. It just has a little spacer because the mount that goes to the cab is a little dimpled. It's not flat. So that they have a little washer in the backside, and then you put it back in. Well, I don't know if it's because the cab's still cocked over, because I haven't got the other side lifted yet, or the bolts that I have actually got are just a cunt hair, just like a whiff too short, that they won't fit in. Right now, that mount is missing that washer, and it's kind of in there, but it's got a flat enough mount, it could be a washer. That one's bolted in, that one's bolted in, and that one's bolted in, just so I can lift the other side. That's kind of where I'm at. I've had to take the inner fenders, well, cut the driver's side one off because I had to take the tire off and all the other debacle and shit. I didn't want to do that. So I just cut the inner fender apart to get it out. I have to get new ones anyway, so it's kind of a moot point to even try to save them. The passenger side one is all smashed to shit because the tire keeps hitting it and it just ripped the shreds out of it. This side kind of did the same thing. One day I turned too tight and it shredded the one front side. So This lift is not just beneficial to everything else I'm trying to do down the line, like the exhaust and wiring and all sorts of other shit and stuff like that. I put a tire that I was told that would fit underneath this comfortably. And yeah, it does. A 33 will fit, but you will have some rubbing issues. Like I've got rubbing issues on my mud flap, and I've got rubbing issues on the other side. With this 4-inch lift, that all pretty much disappears. So, and even after all that, I still have some issues down here I've got to deal with. I think I've found the tensile strength of a few things. I heard something snap early, and I don't know what the fuck it was. I'm pretty sure I found the tensile strength of a wire somewhere. And I bet you it's that ground wire right there. Now that I see it. Yeah, look at that. Tensile strength. It failed. So, it's a mute point wire anyway. It goes to the back of the block. I have one that goes off the block to the frame anyway, and it's a battery cable. I pull no punches. I've ripped a few of those, and I don't care. There's another cable way the fuck down there somewhere. Matter of fact, right here. That's my ground cable to the block. So that little cable up there is a mute point to me. So yeah, I welded this on when I put the engine in last time, and I go straight to the side of the block. So this is actually doing better than that, I believe. And then I get a weird bit of a issue I'm going to have to solve with my alternator. Well, shit. Well, growing pains, I guess. Might have to make a new mount. Fuck. Or delete that alternator. I've only running 2 batteries in it now anyway. I could delete that and reroute it. I just want this, and I want the 2 alternators. So I could physically lop that off. It was, yeah, I can do that. It's right there, and then down below, I can, if I really need to. And if I wanted to, I could probably mount it up here once I get the 4 inches. Because there's a lot of real estate here now. So, yeah, maybe one of these days I'll pull this back off and then maybe put it here. Meh. Or redesign this whole fucking thing. Go down to the junkyard and pick up another mount like this. And then do it so they're all sitting in one alternator here. And then the air compressor and the other one down below. Like I said, now I've got a little more real estate. There's a fuck ton right here. And I still got to get a way to fill my power steering pump, which is there. And the filler is somewhere in there. And I can't fill it. There's no way. Unless I take all this shit off, I can't fill that. So, yeah. Design flaw. But I have a 3D printer and the will to get that fixed. But everything else has got to go first. So all this is got to get done, and then we'll go from there. So I'll get this up in the air. I'll get it nailed down. And after that, I'm calling it a day. But we'll see what it looks like after that. See ya. All right, boys and girls, update time. So, after having the cab kind of slip off the jack for one time I was trying to lift it, good thing I had it bolted on one side. It fell off and then kind of landed on the board that I was trying to jack it up with. But anyway, with that aside, I thought I had knocked the cab out of alignment, but nope, I didn't. It's up to 4 inches now. It is fully tied down on the cab side. Box side, I'm still trying to figure out the exhaust, so I haven't nailed it down yet. But I've got the running boards in. Yeah. So running board. So what I did is I took the flat washer that was on this one, put it on this one, and then put it back in place. I left no washer on this one because it's the center. Don't care. And it's got a really wide base on this one, and those two don't really have a really wide base, so I put it on this one. So it's like this one was before with the flat washer. So I'm not concerned. It should do just the same. Um, for the engine bay going up 4 inches, I have a ass ton of room in here now. So I'm definitely considering taking this alternator and then kind of taking it off this side and having it so hanging over, and maybe putting it in between these guys. Which means the whole accessory drive on this side has to come back off. Whoop-de-doo. It's not like I haven't done it before. The ECU right now is relocated to here. And all the other stuff that I've got to do. This is only a partial wire I've actually taken out. And then my airline stuff is over there. So I've got new fittings coming. I'm going to go from straight off the back, go to the firewall, go over, and then go straight from that, and then just kind of duck off. And then go from there. I have a manifold that I've made now, which is in the front seat. I made it on a previous video. I haven't mounted it yet because I knew that I was going to be doing the lift, and I want to make sure all the hoses are going to reach. So far that should work. But the stance on this thing now looks pretty nice. The running boards still make it look like it's a little close to the ground, and there will be probably a good chunk of real estate in between. But for the 4-inch lift and with the tires that I've got on this thing already, it doesn't look all that bad. Like, I'm actually quite surprised about it. I still might have a little bit of rub on this one on the fender, but the front I won't have anything now. And the back side, it looks more or less like the new Chev now. It's big tire, big wheel well. So yeah, I'm quite happy with it. And I've still got enough real room to get the truck back out. I may have to move my speaker because the stack is probably going to clean it off. But other than that, I'm quite happy with the results. Everything's lining up. Everything went as good as it could possibly be, I guess. I still have all my fingers. I haven't shed any blood. The only thing I've lost is my virgin mouth. Profanity in this place was atrocious. And anybody that knows me, that's just absolute bullshit. But yeah, so work from the ground up. Now I've got the lift in place. Now I can start putting things back on. I still got to get the transmission and transfer case and drive shafts and shit out for another reason. It is the rear main seal's blown in this thing, and it is covered from oil pan to differential underneath this truck. I had a look at it this morning, and I drove this thing probably about 3 or 4 months more than I should have, knowing full well this thing has been pissing out oil. And I drive from here an hour away and drive back. I had to put a liter of oil into the thing. It is that bad or worse. And it's still leaking out as I'm sitting here. So yeah, I gotta pull all that shit out. Now that with the body lift, that will make it easier because now I can get at the transmission bolts a little easier. I can drop the transmission a little easier because the shifter is now below the floor, and I don't have to fuck with it so much. And then, yeah, there's just a lot of easier stuff. And getting the transfer case bolts off the top of it was always a pain in the ass because I have one special wrench around here, and I don't know if I still have it floating around, that I use just to get the top transfer case bolt off because it's so close to the floor, it's like that big. And I don't even tighten it up all that much, just enough to get it in there and squeak, and that's it. And then I can get the transfer case back off. So getting the first time off was an absolute shit stain with this truck. But yeah, now that should be a thing of the past. I should be able to use a normal wrench or a socket or some shit like that and the job should go easier. But I got to go down there with basically a rain suit because I am going to get covered in oil. So that's another day, and I'm not dealing with it today. I'm not even going to really think about it today as much as I have. But I'm going to say la vie. I'm going in the house. I am going to get the rest of Chev and the dirt in Saskatchewan off me and call it a day. So I'll bring it along for the conclusion ish for this. New Year's Eve, and I'm working on my truck just before I go over to my parents' place. So I came in to do one thing. I figured to get it done and then get it over with. The extension for my steering. Took an old steering shaft out of the junkyard, took it, cut it on either end, welded it together. However, I went and screwed it up because I went and welded the inside of this, and you can't really see it, but that little gob that's in the inside is right in the freaking road of the other one. The bottom half will fit in no problem, but this side doesn't. It goes down and it's about half the bolt hole. So I gotta go down to the junkyard and I gotta cut another one off. And then do the same thing I did with this one. I welded a steel bar inside of this, but I made the bar too long and I decided, well, I'll just weld it in the inside, make it a little stronger. So it's just not this that's holding it all together. Well, that proved to be a bad idea. So I gotta redo this. But anyway, it does fit. You really can't see it, but my steering shaft is right there. This goes on the end of it, like so, and then this collapses quite a bit. And once I get it all in there, it does fit. So it does do the job, but I screwed up one spot and I don't have a piece to get down there and drill that crap out or flatten it down or anything like that. So, oops. But yeah, it's that piece, and then I got to do my e-brake and the four-wheel drive. My parts came in for my rear main seal, so I get to do this nice little task later. And I'm doing the whole thing this time, the whole back plate and the seal. I figure if I got it off, might as well do it. And then I might end up doing the clutch while I'm down there. Yeah, it's kind of another one of those roller coaster things. Like, yay, it works, and then you find out, oh, I buggered it up. So, yeah, oops, bark. Well, this concludes today. I'm going to, well, it's 12:30 now. I got some other crud that I got to get accomplished today, so that kind of irritates me that happened. But, you know, they always say live and learn. So I've lived, I have learned, so I won't be doing that again. Yeah, because all I used to fill it up was rod of sorts, again, scrounge from work, and then a nut, welded that nut into it, slid that inside of it, or actually welded that nut to either side of that, slid the nut in, welded the nut to the thing so I'm not using a massive amount of weld, and then slid the other piece onto it because that is just the right diameter for it, and then welded that to it. At first it was too damn long. I made it so it was 4 inches from center to center. Well, that was too long, so then I cut it down and then it was just right. So that little stub you saw, it was just the right size. There was 2 inches of space in there before, and yeah, that was an oopsie too, but at least that one was fixable. This one, now I get it all in place and I'm trying to get the bolt into it. I'm like, why isn't it going in? You know, now I know. And I'm not going to modify the steering column to get around those 2 spots, because if I do and I go and tighten it down with the nut, I'm liable to have problems kind of in the future, maybe, I don't know. that if the steering breaks at that spot, then I'm screwed. If I go and modify the other one to go around those two welds, I don't want to do that in case that I want to drop this thing back down on its original frame and maybe sell it. Like anybody's going to buy this. But yeah. So that's it for today. And this little project. So I'm going to get this uploaded, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. And if you want to know more, let me know, and I'll keep doing this. I'll probably end up keep doing it anyway, just for keeping myself out of trouble, what little trouble I get into. So anyway, today is done. I'm Gandhi. See you next time.